Hello folks, it's Dave here. Thanks for tuning in again. I hope you're all doing really well out there in YouTube land. And today I want to give you my review of Transformers Legacy Evolution Trashmaster. And here he is. I'll talk to you a bit about his bot mode first, transform him off camera to save time, and then come back in the alt mode. So let's have a little look at him together. Here he is. First of all, I really like what they've done with the head sculpt on the guy. The Mohican down the middle looks cool, with some red on top to just slightly contrast with the orange that's on most of the head. I like that they've given him a red visor, silver face, and this nice pronounced jawline reminiscent of, say, Bulkhead or Trapjaw from Masters of the Universe. It's a really nice head sculpt. And then the body, he's got this nice chest with this silver stripe with spikes on along the top. Lots of nice painted details on the window bits, broken up with these little stripes in there. That looks nice and interesting. The shoulders with these spike details on, one different from the other, so you get a nice bit of asymmetry on those. In the middle, this midriff piece and the bits where the elbows are just a very flat grey with not much detail on, so they could have been a little bit better, but they're okay. They break up the colours on the way down anyway. And then these forearms I really like, nice and big and chunky. Words that you can describe him with overall. And yeah, these nice silver bits for, you can imagine that's where he stores his ammo, inside there. He's got these nice hands with guns built in. You can imagine he's going to be very aggressive on the battlefield. He does have these little hip skirts on here, which on another bot I might find unattractive, but I actually quite like them here, and they do have a little bit of silver paint on, which is quite nice. And then the legs, yeah, not much going on at the top. The bottom half of the legs, again nice and chunky and beefy, some nice red spikes on the knees, a lot of heft in there. The ankles don't look the most attractive, but they're fine, and the feet are nice with guns on the top. Again, showing a bit of aggression. He is just a big lad who's going to get out on the battlefield and take some people down. Really cool. And he cleans up fairly nicely all the way around. I like this back piece here. Just a small, fairly flat back piece, and it looks nice, and he's got a bit of paint on. The only unattractive bit really that kind of breaks up the cleanness is this big flap hanging off the bum. The back of the legs, fairly plain but nice and clean. And you've got the wheels on the side, which are pretty nicely done. Overall, he's chunky, he's a nice looking bot, he feels good in hand, and I really like him. Okay, in terms of articulation then, we'll talk about that next. His head goes side to side. It does wiggle a little bit up and down and side to side, but not very much. Would have been nice to get a little bit more neck action in there. His arms will go all the way round and up to the side with a bicep swivel and elbows, which go nice and deep. And then we've got a wrist swivel, which is nice. He does have a waist. You sort of have to get some of the bits out of the way to go a long way, but he will go all the way around. On the legs, again, you have to move these skirts up to kick to the side, but he will get up there. He'll go all the way forward. He'll go all the way back. He's got a swivel just above the knee, because he does have detachable legs as a modulator, and he'll get knee bend to about 90 degrees, and then his feet will go backwards and forwards on a transformation joint, so you can get some nice posing with that. He does have an ankle tilt, which goes far enough, not as far as some, but far enough. Is a little bit stiff on mine, but yeah, overall articulation very good. Would have just liked really to have a little bit more on the head for me. Apart from that, I'm happy with the articulation. And now let's have a look at the accessories that he comes packed with. So first of all, he comes with these bits, which are going to form the front of his alt mode. So they attach together, and they can be stored in this piece on the back here. And plug in there. That makes for an even chunkier back end. What I prefer to do with these is to attach them into the 5mm holes on the back of his shoulders. And that might not be to everyone's taste, but I kind of like just having them up there like that. Then he also comes with 2 of these. Really all of these accessories are part of his alt mode. You can choose where you want to put them. In the instructions, these are on these hip flaps. I like to put them down here, plugged into the inside of one of the wheels, and I think that looks nice and neat on the side of the legs like that. So I do them, one on each side. And then he also comes with this accessory, which has this big gaping chomper on the front and what looks like bunny ears on top. He can hold it in his hand. I'm not really a big fan of this as an handheld accessory particularly. What I like to do is manoeuvre it around like this and plug it in and just give him a bit more on the back, because I think it just sort of takes away from that butt flap bit really and makes things just look a bit more even around the back. And I do like the way it looks up here behind his head as well. So that's how I like to use the accessories, but of course you could use them however you want them. You've got some options there. Right, I'm going to go off camera and get him transformed, and we'll come back and take a look together at his alt mode. See you in a minute, guys. Okay folks, I'm back, and here we have Trashmaster in his lovely bin lorry mode, and this just looks awesome to me. I love all that detail on the front, big spiked bumper, the lights moulded in there, all this done in silver, lovely. The classic Junkion colour scheme all over him, spikes on him, just really nice. Does look fairly tidy all the way around. You can see he's using some accessories to fill in gaps. I don't mind that. All this bit opens up at the back. You can see his hands when you've got it open, but I don't mind that really. You can imagine if you're messing around with this, you throw some rubbish in there and he chomps it up. And that all feeds into the idea of who the character is. And then you've got this nice silver detail, chains on there, moulded in. That looks lovely. These bits just arching up the sides here. The wheels are nice and tidy. None of the pegs sticking through that we've seen on some recent releases. They look really nice. You've got the bit of silver paint down the side there. And even underneath he looks nice and tidy. So overall, this is a really nice, fun, chunky bin lorry mode. My 5-year-old son absolutely loves this. Just grabbing it, rolling it around, and I don't mind letting him get his hands on this because it just feels really solid. And yeah, my thoughts on this really overall is that although it's a brand new made up character, it actually feels nostalgic, not in a way that you feel nostalgia for having something on a shelf that looks like it's jumped out of a cartoon, but in a way of feeling like you get that same feeling when you mess around with him that you remember getting when you played with your toys when you were a kid. So it's a different type of nostalgia with him, but he feels very nostalgic despite being a brand new character, and I love that. His transformation is really straightforward, big sweeping motions, really fun to mess around with, and yeah, and part of it for me is that my son's fallen in love with him too, and it's always nice to be able to share your passion for Transformers with your kids when you can, when they're into it. when they're willing to give it a go. And yeah, he just saw this and was like, yeah, that looks really fun. Can I mess around with it, Daddy? And of course, I was happy for him to do so. So yeah, this is my review of Legacy Evolution Trashmaster, guys, and he is really good and really fun. And even though he's not a G1 character, if you're just a fan of good, fun toys, then I would recommend him. He also looks good if you've got a display of Junkions on your shelf. You know, if you've got Retgar and you've got Junk Heap, then getting these made-up characters, these weaponizer ones, just to fill out the ranks and add a bit of variety in terms of the moulds. They are really, really good, really fun toys, and they display really well all together as well. So I would absolutely recommend this. Thank you for watching this review, guys. I will be along for another video next week. Until then, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.